God, it's better.
All right. Good evening, old school Texas Tech. We are going to try to do a better job of predicting the Big 12 games this week. I was 2-5 last week. Jordan was 3-4. It's just the Big 12 is wild. It's really wild. Um,
I
so
thought
as
I thought I was 1-6.
what's that?
I thought I was 1-6. Good to know that it was 3-4. I feel like that's a little bit of a victory.
Yeah, you did. The difference that separated us was you picked BYU, and I got suckered into UCF again. Um,
Yeah.
all right, so we're gonna do a separate video with a little bit more detailed prediction on Texas Tech, Iowa State. That is the first game listed, always on my ESPN app for Big 12 games. So without going into detail, who do you think wins in Ames on Saturday?
Iowa State. That was one of my preseason predictions too. I just know how we are on the road. Plus, we've had a couple of rough weeks. Our defense is not playing well. I think they're going to be, and I think last I saw it, Iowa State was a 14-point favorite. I'm like, that means Vegas knows.
So I'm down to 13 and a half, but yeah. All right.
Iowa
Can't. What's that?
Iowa State's going to win that game, unfortunately.
Okay. Kansas State at Houston. Remember, Houston upset Utah last week.
Yeah, but so did TCU the week before. Utah is on a downward spiral.
Yeah.
It's a weird season, man. I'm taking Kansas State. They're just too well coached, and Houston has
Yeah.
me multiple times, so I'm going Kansas State.
Okay. Interesting game because they're both on total free fall. Arizona at UCF in Orlando.
Ooh,
UCF seems to have a lot of home games.
they sure do, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm going to go UCF on this one just because they're at home, and
Okay.
Arizona's going to be jumping three time zones
Yeah, it's a rough. That's rough.
or
All
two.
right, Arizona State, which is not on free fall, they go to Stillwater. And I'll offer my analysis. I'll let you pick the game to this one. I'll talk about it later.
Oklahoma State's having a rough year. I'm going to go ahead and take Arizona State to make their misery continue.
All right, I'm actually very interested who you will pick in this game. TCU at Baylor.
Yeah, that one. I'm going to go with Baylor in this one.
Okay, okay. All right. I'm gonna shock the world. I have this really weird feeling that Tech's gonna go up there and beat Iowa State. It's probably my biggest upset that I've picked this year. There's some statistics, there's some numbers behind it. Joey McGuire has not lost three in a row since he's been at Tech. I watched his press conference. He looks, for lack of a better word, he looks pissed off. I We have won the last two games against Iowa State. We actually lead the overall series. I think it's 13-8. If you look at their statistics and if you look at kind of the way they're trending, they struggled with UCF. I think we have a better running game than UCF by far. I think Taj is due for a big breakout game. The offensive line is below average, but I think if we can just, but I think the focus is using the tight ends better than we have. The quarterback situation, I'm actually not that concerned about because I think, despite that fumble, which was kind of a fluke deal at the end, I think Will Hammond's been playing pretty well. I think we can. I think we can. I think we can go up there and shock the world. I don't think it'll. We will. I think it'll be like a 1 or 2 point game. I'm going to go. Well, we'll talk about that later. But I got. I've got Tech upsetting Iowa State. We'll talk more about that. I'm going to go with
Okay.
you. I'm going to take Kansas State beating Houston. I still think Kansas State at the end of the day, no disrespect to BYU, but I think Kansas State's the class of the conference. And if they get a chance to play BYU at a neutral site, I actually think Kansas State will win that game personally. Um, And then I'm gonna go Arizona to beat UCF just because UCF continues to bite me. And I'm reading stories that they're talking about bringing Scott Frost back to UCF and getting rid of Malzahn. So something's really going wrong there. Not that things are much better at Arizona. I've read it. I have a lot of respect for. I have a lot of respect for what's the sports writer, the longtime Don Williams. I have a lot of respect for
Yeah.
Don Williams. Uh, Don Williams wrote in his Big 12 power rankings. I believe it was one of his articles this week that Oklahoma State really. We all nobody wants to believe it because Gundy always turns it around, but he's like Oklahoma State's as bad as their record indicates. So, I mean, he's not someone who just kind of throws stuff against the wall. I am going to go with you and pick Baylor to beat TCU. I think TCU got so lucky last week against us. It's not even. It's not even. It's almost hilarious how lucky they got come back and win that game. We had them beat. We should have won the game. Anyway, so those are my picks. Um, anything you want to add or anything like that?
No, at the end of the day, the only one that I care about is Iowa State and Texas Tech. So I'd love to be wrong on that one. That would really kind of right the season. So the last 2 weeks have been pretty rough for us as a fan base.
Really? Yeah. I mean, talk about going from 5-1 and the excitement to the last 2 weeks. Anyway, we'll talk more about that game. Anything else you want to add?
No, I mean the season's rough. I mean, we're already 2/3 of the way through the season. I mean, we have a few games left and
Yeah.
that's it. That's why football is the best sport. The games are there's not that many of them and they count. So
Yeah. Yeah. We still have a third of our season left. So I will say, there's a lot of negativity out there. I get it. I'm disappointed too. I was hoping for like an 8-9 win season. I think realistically that's probably pushing it a little bit. But if we were to pull an upset Saturday, you might start to get back in that range again, possibly.
sure,
But
sure.
I don't blame people for being disappointed, but the whole fire everybody. Joey's a high school coach. I'm just not on board with that.
There's some knee-jerk reactions and I said some pretty horrible things the day of and the couple of days after. So I'm just as guilty. I haven't said fire McGuire. I'm just kind of irritated with him. And I'm not as irritated with Kinley as most of the fan base is. My ire is more, we'll talk about it more. My ire is more in the defense right now.
All right. All right. So we'll talk we'll go to the next video here. Anything else? Let's move on. All
Nope.
right. We'll see you guys next week. Oh, please subscribe, like, comment. I keep forgetting to do that at the
I
beginning.
do too. Thanks, everybody.